Max Verstappen has done it again, drawing the focus of the entire Formula One world onto himself. With his dominant victory in Baku, after a flawless pole position, fastest lap, and an error-free performance from start to finish, he sent a clear signal. Red Bull is far from out of the title race. After months of doubts, setbacks, and discussions about internal weaknesses, the RB21 suddenly shows a face that makes the competition sit up and take notice. But how much of this upswing is truly sustainable? And how much is just a brief flicker that could already fizzle out in Singapore? Before we dive deeper, if you find the championship battle exciting and want to share your opinion on Verstappen's chances, write it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our analyses. Let's first look at the facts. After his triumph in Monza, which many experts considered a purely track-specific case, Baku was seen as the real acid test. In recent years, Red Bull had struggled here to find the balance between straight-line speed and stability in tight corners. This time, however, Verstappen presented himself as unleashed. With cool precision, he exploited the strategic decision to start on hard tires and transformed it into a comfortable cushion over McLaren and Mercedes. His victory in Azerbaijan was more than just another success. It was a psychological blow against Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, who suddenly must feel that their seemingly secure advantage is by no means untouchable. This also cast the championship battle situation in a new light. Before Baku, Verstappen seemed already written off. Too far had the gap to Piastri grown. But 2 consecutive victories have brought him back to the center of attention. With now 69 points behind, 7 races and 3 sprints remaining, he has earned himself a theoretical chance at a 5th title. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's sharp-witted advisor, put it succinctly after the race. That was no coincidence. Monza wasn't just a track phenomenon. The trend clearly points upward, words that McLaren and Ferrari surely heard very carefully. But while Baku and Monza give Red Bull new confidence, now comes the real endurance test: Singapore. It's no secret that the blazing hot conditions, the unforgiving track bumps, and the extremely high downforce level of the Marina Bay circuit traditionally cause Red Bull problems. In 2023, it was even the only track where Verstappen didn't stand on the podium. That's exactly why many observers see Singapore as the decisive moment. If Red Bull is competitive there, the entire title race could shift dramatically once more. What's also interesting is how Verstappen himself evaluates his situation. While the media are already fantasizing about a possible late title coup, the Dutchman remains surprisingly sober. To Sky Sports F1, he explained, "It's a lot. Everything would have to run perfectly on my side, and then also a bit of luck on their side." Words that on one hand show his realistic assessment, but on the other, also the enormous mental strength that has characterized him for years. He knows the championship is no longer a foregone conclusion, but a hard battle where every mistake is immediately punished. The technical component shouldn't be underestimated. Red Bull introduced a revised floor for Monza that brought more downforce and efficiency simultaneously. Combined with a deeper understanding of the RB21's peculiarities, this seems to have brought the decisive step. But what happens when Singapore's extreme demands push the concept to its limits? Can Red Bull prove there that the improvements don't just work track-specifically, but have actually changed the car's character? Meanwhile, McLaren remains in the focus of criticism. Piastri may still lead the championship, but his retirement in Baku showed that he doesn't yet possess the consistency of a 4-time world champion like Verstappen. Norris, in turn, failed to fully exploit his teammate's mistake. 7th place was a disappointing result that brought the Briton no headlines. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, had still emphatically stressed before Baku that Verstappen remained a title candidate. Many laughed at his statement then. Today, after the last 2 races, it sounds like a dark prophecy. And that's exactly where the appeal of the current situation lies. While McLaren is busy with internal power struggles between Piastri and Norris, Red Bull is working almost unnoticed to lay the foundation for a spectacular comeback. Verstappen enjoys the role of the hunter, free from the pressure of absolutely having to win every race. And yet, he knows exactly. If Red Bull performs in Singapore, the entire tone of the title fight could change abruptly. Singapore has been a litmus test for every construction for years, and it's exactly here where the cards are reshuffled. Marina Bay isn't a classic high-speed track like Monza or a hybrid challenge like Baku. It's an extreme combination of tight corners, constantly changing rhythm, and physical stress that pushes drivers and material to their limits. For Red Bull, it has traditionally been a nightmare. Too much heat, too many track bumps, too many downforce requirements. In 2023, it remained the only Grand Prix that Verstappen didn't finish on the podium. That's exactly why the Singapore weekend is described by many insiders as a litmus test for the RB21. If Verstappen is competitive in Singapore, it doesn't just mean a step toward the title fight. It would be a symbolic breakthrough, proof that Red Bull has overcome the car's weaknesses even under the harshest conditions. Helmut Marko recently put it bluntly, "If we're strong in Singapore, then we can start dreaming." With this, he makes clear, not Baku, not Monza, but Marina Bay decides whether the hope for a fifth title is realistic or not. In parallel, McLaren is under pressure like never before. Oscar Piastri may still hold the championship lead, but his catastrophic weekend in Azerbaijan was more than just a slip-up. A crash in qualifying, a false start with penalty, and a retirement in the first round. All this showed that the young Australian makes mistakes under the weight of the championship battle that an experienced driver cannot afford. Lando Norris, in turn, could hardly capitalize on the situation. 7th place was a disappointing result considering his teammate's retirement. It's exactly this missed opportunity that raises questions. Does McLaren really have the mental toughness to keep both drivers in the championship fight simultaneously? Or does the team break under its own ambitions? Red Bull benefits from this uncertainty. Verstappen has proven over the years that he flourishes precisely when the competition shows nerves. While McLaren publicly emphasizes that the Dutchman remains a serious rival, Verstappen works calmly in the background on his comeback. 2 consecutive victories have changed the dynamics, and even though 69 points behind still seems enormous, everyone knows one more slip-up by Piastri or Norris can turn the entire title race upside down. Technically speaking, the biggest unknown remains the interplay between tire management, energy recovery, and aerodynamic balance. The RB21 showed in Baku that with an aggressive strategy, starting on hard tires, it's capable of controlling the race. But in Singapore, there's little room for error. Overheated tires, an unlucky safety car timing, or even a small balance mistake could make the difference between victory and mediocrity. It's exactly here that Red Bull must prove the recent upswing wasn't just a flash in the pan, but the result of genuine development. Another puzzle piece is Yuki Tsunoda. Long considered the weakest link in the Red Bull system, his recent points finishes, including a 6th place in Baku, suggest that the RB21 overall is easier to drive. Tsunoda won't interfere in the title fight, but every additional point he collects strengthens Red Bull's position in the Constructors' Championship and gives Verstappen the backing he has missed for so long. The competition is aware of the danger. Ferrari and Mercedes know that a reinvigorated Verstappen can throw the entire balance of power in the final races into disarray. Especially Mercedes, which shone in Baku with George Russell in 2nd place, sees Singapore as an opportunity to put Red Bull under pressure once more. But caution reigns there too. Should Verstappen break the Singapore spell, his confidence should explode definitively. In the end, everything hangs on a single weekend. If Verstappen delivers in Singapore, the story of the 2025 season could take a completely new turn. Then the championship fight is no longer a duel between Piastri and Norris, but a 3-way battle where the 4-time world champion suddenly has the reins in his hands again. But if he fails and Red Bull falters again, it will be clear. The 2 victories in Monza and Baku were just a brief flicker, and McLaren can continue dreaming of a double triumph. The truth will therefore be written in the narrow streets of Marina Bay. Verstappen himself remains cool. Everything has to run perfectly, and a bit of luck on their side. But anyone who knows the Dutchman knows it's exactly this mixture of realistic self-assessment and ruthless ambition that makes him so dangerous.